Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look at all the numbered Pan books, such as this one here, that I was missing from my own original Pan book collection that I've now filled in. So I'm very pleased to say that I've been able to complete my number-only Pan collection, and I'm literally not missing a single one now. Now I have already filmed my Pan number-only collection, about 4 videos, so this is a look back at all the numbers that weren't included in those original videos. So you could say that these are perhaps amongst the rarest, stroke scarcest, or hard to come by of those original Pan numbered-only books. So anyway, that's what we're going to have a look at today. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so the first one we have is actually, for many, many years, and in all the original sort of Pan collectors guides, not that there was many, but in the ones that did exist, they only ever listed 3 hardback books, but in actual fact there was a 4th one called The Fountain of Life. This was actually one I got from Tim at around the same time as I got the main collection. Tim, who runs the Great Pan Collectors website at ticket.net. So obviously there'll be a link to that one below. But this one, it does have a dust wrapper. However, the dust wrapper is almost completely red. And this is just a later hardback of one of the earlier numbered Pan books, and it was published in 1949, and that's The Fountain of Life. So very pleased to get that one. Then the first numbered one I was missing was number 23, and I did notice a bit of a trend when I was filling in the blanks here, that a lot of the books I was missing ended up being what you would call genre fiction, so it's like crime or westerns. Those seem to be the ones that I ended up missing and just hadn't come across. So here's another one here, Freeman Will's Crofts. This is number 52. So I would say if you've got any of these, you've probably done all right, you know, if you've been out and about and got lucky. E.M. Delafield, 68, Late and Soon. Unlike Penguin books, which often have dealer catalogues and there's regular collectors selling on their doubles through the Collectors Society. Not so with Pan books so much. You do have to almost hunt every single title down online, title by title. Number 75 here, Georgia Hare. And that's a much bigger job. It's not like you can get a catalogue and fill in 20 or 30 missing gaps at a time. It just doesn't happen like that. So that's why this particular collection was so good to find. This one I've been after for a long, long time. Freeman Will's Crofts, Antidote to Venom, certainly one of the harder titles. So some of these, you know, they are what the original owner from that collection, you know, that's what his condition copies were in. I've not had the chance to compare them because I said all of these were missing from my numbered only collection at number 95 there. And that was it. That was all I was missing, those ones there from the first sort of 100 numbered Pans. It was more towards the end. The Beloved Physician, Naomi Jacob, 123, that one. One of their early sort of medical background novels. Rose Anstey, 136, another one. I mean, you wouldn't think that something like that would be difficult to find unless, of course, it just didn't sell. And then that would be that would probably be the reason why this one suffered a bit, is because it just hasn't, well, that one's become scarce because it just didn't sell at the time. But, you know, who can tell? Very pleased to get this one. So it's an early Pan Maigret to the rescue. I believe I've got all the early ones now, and that is a really, really nice one. That, yeah, very pleased to find that. One thing I have noticed on some of these early ones, at this time, the Pan books were predominantly being printed in France and then shipped down the Seine into the UK, 139, because Britain was still suffering from paper rationing, and the publishers only had a certain amount allotted to them. This is 139, an early Peter Cheney as well. And this is probably why you see these were missing, is because they are early crime titles which are collected in their own right. Let's start another pile here. The Death Ship. Yeah, so I was saying, so some of these are, they've not survived too well because of where they've been printed. And later on, as the books start to get printed in the UK as well as France, the Saint Devines, sometimes you get the choice of a locally printed one or one of the overseas French ones, and then you get to choose the better condition one. So this one, for example, Devoted Ladies. This is a classic case of an orange or red cover, which has been left out in the sun, and boom, it's faded. And you will find that certain editions of certain books are always going to be like that. So although I've completed them, I've got a copy of every single book that was now published in the numbered series. I've got a list of I think there's about 12 out of the whole run now that are lower grade and ones I'd like to upgrade, such as that one. So I should always be looking to get a better copy. Another little area which don't seem to be that common in second-hand pans when you find them is westerns, and I think that's simply because they've been read and read and read and read, and they just have over time become quite uncommon. The western genre is certainly something that's hotted up, and I was very pleased to get all these early Max brands. This one's quite nice. There Ain't No Justice. It's a look at prize fighters. There are a whole genre of collectors who collect boxing books. Really nice copy of that one. My granddad was a boxer a little bit before the 1950s, more like in the 1920s. James Hilton here. A topical drama of a suspected scientist. That's this guy here. Nothing So Strange. James Hilton. So, as you'll see in a minute, I only needed about 50 or so books. It wasn't too bad. Maybe a few more than that. Another western here, Hell and High Water. So that meant that I had a massive run of doubles. So I've now been through all the doubles for the numbered only series. I am actually still working my way through as we film this. The Pan Giants, and I haven't even started on any of the later series yet. This is 166. So what I've been doing, I've been listing all the Agatha Christie's, all the Saint books the Ian Flemings have already sold on my eBay channel. So the body of the beam here, Anthony, another nice crime one. So lots of doubles. I've just sort of been listing them on eBay, and I'll put a link to my actual auctions down below. So if there are odd ones that you want, you can either mail me direct or just have a look on eBay and take your luck. Murder in Trinidad here, another quite scarce one. This one. Here we are. So 174. This one made me smile when I came across it. Tiger Man. Nothing to do with Tiger King on Netflix. So yeah, Tiger Man. Yes, if you do fancy filling in a few blanks, you can always email me direct. Okay, so it's julesburt@gmail.com, nice and simple to remember. And I can always see if I've got them in my doubles, because it's going to take a long, long time to sell all the spare Pan books. I mean, there's boxes of them. So yeah, I'm filming this in August 2020. So if you are fancying an opportunity to go through and pick up a load of books in one hit, now's your chance. All right. 181 here, another western, The Shadow Rider. Colt MacDonald. (182) 10 English love stories. So once again, I think this is really, really hard to get. So I'm delighted to have a copy of it, but I've also, because it's a little on the worn side, I have put it on my wants list of ones to upgrade. But that's cool. Don't mind that. As long as I've got one. It's another one here. Look, another love story. So the romance ones have proved to be tougher to find as well over time, which is interesting. So if we've got crime, westerns, and love, it is the genre fiction. Sort of the general fiction seems to have turned up over the years. Rex Stout. Now, one of the key bits with the numbered only series, of course, is that not every number was issued. So you absolutely have to go through the Pan Collectors website. Let's pop that one up there, so that you can see which ones never came out and which ones did, because you may be looking for something that doesn't exist. Here's the paperback of that book, which was the first hardback, or that missing hardback that I had. So very pleased to see I have both versions of that now. So the hardback, and that's the original paperback. The Lady Vanishes. Ethel Lena White. Certainly not a one that you would think of. A brilliant thriller that made a famous film. Well, there you go. This is number 203. And one of the great bits I've been able to do is have multiple copies and compare them against my own copies and pull the best one out. So the numbered collection that I've got left, they certainly look fantastic. I have to say, it really has upped the collection's condition quite markedly. 205 there, because as I said, unlike Penguin, you just don't see dealer catalogues with pan books in, at least not in recent years. Sort of the last 10, 15 years it was that long ago. This is 206 that I saw any sort of dealer selling off pan books in bulk. Here we are, 241, another Freeman Wills Crofts. Murderers Make Mistakes. And as you can see, because we're going through a whole period of time from the late 40s into the mid 50s, the actual cover design is changing as the further we go into these, which is nice to see. 244, Nero Wolfe there, Some Buried Caesar, Rex Stout. Irresistible Love Story. Well, there we go again. All else is following. So I reckon these particular ones are much, much harder to get than people might think. But how collectible are they? I mean, how many people are trying to go through the complete pan run and try and fill them all in? Probably not that many, I wouldn't have thought, was it murder? But there must be some other people like me and Tim who want to get every single numbered issue that exists. Pilgrim's Rest. Thankfully, it's nowhere near as difficult a task as trying to get all the every penguin. But I would say sometimes the penguins might be easier. Silence for the Murderer. Another Freeman Wills Crofts there. Looks like he's holding half a Kinder Egg, doesn't it? Brat Farr, another one. Seems very, very scarce, this one. I have no idea why. It's an early Josephine Tay, number 280. I mean, some of these are literally, I've had saved searches on eBay for many, many years and just never come across the firsts. There were a few Agatha Christie's I was delighted to fill in. Now, as I said, I've been selling the ones I've had spare on eBay, and they've been going for, I would say the lower condition ones, I start them at like £3 a pop. Some of them have been going up as much as a tenner each, which I was quite surprised at. But generally speaking, they go for between £3-5 a pop, which isn't bad for an original Agatha Christie, I don't think. Ross MacDonald here, John Ross MacDonald, Moving Target. That was 289. Got 294 here, Vicky Ball, Central Stories. I'm just going to pause there once more for the last run of these. Okay, so this is 295, No Mask for Murder, Andrew Garve, an exciting crime novel in a tropical setting. Well, there you go. She looks happy, doesn't she? 297. So this is I mentioned it before. I found this one particularly difficult to get hold of in a first edition. A 307. It does turn up. It was obviously a bestseller, so it turns up quite often in later editions. Warwick Deeping, story of a country doctor. Time to hear. It's the country doctor. 309. Another one I was very pleased to get, an early Earl Stanley Gardner. Got a nice cover on that one as well. The Case of the Vagabond Virgin. Really screams like early 50s, isn't it, with the car and that there. Nice sort of airbrushy cover. That reminds me of a Del Matt back cover a little bit on that. Death has Deep Roots, Michael Gilbert. So the good news is, by showing you all of these, this is every single numbered only pan book that was ever published. So it's nice to sort of draw a line under that now. 320, Westward the Sun. This is a film tie-in for the Graham Greene, The Third Man, and The Fallen Idol. Pretty good stuff there. Just wanted to see who that was on the front. I wasn't sure if it was Richard Attenborough or Orson Welles. I don't know. Could be either. Looks like Orson Welles. This is a tough Agatha Christie to find in first edition, and it's one of the most famous covers for Poirot Investigates. I was sure I had this one, so I don't know how I managed to not get it, but it was missing from the collection, so there it is now. Another one I was very, very pleased to see, an early pan sci-fi title, The Man Who Sold the World, and the first Robert Heinlein one, which was great. And there was 2 copies of that in this collection, so some of the books I've ended up with 4 copies of, so I've been able to choose the very best one for myself. But it has, of course, left me plenty to trade on and sell on eBay, because I've got no room for boxes and boxes of extra books, so I need to get rid of them. Hopefully I can do some decent trades, so do please contact me if you are looking to swap a few out. I've got a wants list on the go. Now this is number 340. This is a Josephine Bell. And this is one of those instances where the book is actually glossy. So some of the pans around this period, from about number 300 up, actually had very ultra glossy covers, so they've survived quite nicely. This is number 344, The Case of the Lonely Heiress, Earl Stanley Gardner. And a Western again, The Last of the Plainsmen, Zane Grey, 352. Last little stack now. So The Clue of the New Shoe, Arthur Upfield, A Case of Detective Inspector Bonaparte. Another one I was very pleased to see, and once again there was 2 copies of this one in the collection, so I guess I've just been unlucky and not come across this one. 366, Secret of the Chimneys. 384, it's another one with a glossy cover here, Death of a Lake, Bonaparte Detective Story, 384. And we got another Earl Stanley Gardner, The Case of the Lazy Lover, 389, quite cool on that. The Curse of the Bronze Lamp, Carter Dictionary, a really nice copy, that one. So these sort of later numbered copies do survive in better nick, generally speaking. Not all of them, depends obviously if they've been read to death or not, but yeah, 1956. So, you know, they're not quite as old, and they're definitely printed on better paper. So if you do find them, they are in slightly better condition. Hammond Innes, The Strange Land here, 395. So it made us tickle a bit. Glory Hole. We'll move swiftly on, but it looks like a real cool Western, that, doesn't it? Just the title has got a slightly humorous name. Beautiful, beautiful condition copy of that. Look how white the spine is. It's never been read, that. Just a little bit of page edge browning, and if only they were all in that good condition, eh? This next one, another Earl Stanley Gardner, so definitely his early pan books have seemed to have eluded me because I've not got them. I never had them in my collection beforehand. Island of Terror, Sapper, it's a real vintage one there. Quite scarce, I think. Dust in Sunlight, Catherine Gaskin. Another sort of romancy one. I think they are scarce, those. This is good to get. It's a Western again, Max Brand. It says A Romance of New Mexico, but I think it has got a bit of a Western vibe to it as well. Maybe sort of, yeah, like Max Brand, Master of Westerns. Brand was one of 13 pen names. His real name was Frederick Faust. There you go. Last few now, so very, very pleased to have a nice copy of this at last. This was the original Journey into Space. There is a follow-up later on. The story of the record-breaking record serial. Beautiful perspective cover there. 437. Another Western again. See, there was a lot of Westerns missing, wasn't there? Sourdough Gold. And I don't know why there was so many Westerns, except like most of the genre fiction in early pan seems to be quite scarce these days, which is, I think, quite interesting. Next to last one then, Cake in the Hat Box, Arthur Upfield. Once again, a very, very nice copy of that one. And there's been a few by this particular author. So were they not that great sellers? I mean, I don't know, but interesting to see. And then the very last one, in fact, why don't we stick there, because it's such a great cover in it. And the very last one we've got to look at that I was missing was another Western again, Blackwater by Frank O'Rourke. This is number 443. There we are, and this comes in 1958. So there we go. So that was all the missing numbered only pound books that I needed, and I was surprised there were so many, but because that's out of all the pound books, that's the sort of run that I have been specialising in trying to get licked first of all. And well, fantastic to actually put a line underneath it now. Bar the every single one I now have, and all the ones that should be in wrappers I now have in wrappers, except that Fountain of Life hardback. But I've still got about a dozen or so that need upgrading if it's to be the most perfect collection. But hey, no one's ever going to get that. Absolutely fantastic. I do hope you've enjoyed looking through those today. If you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback and lots more Pan book content. There's loads more still to go. And I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.